What's going on, good people? Hey, y'all. Hi. What's going on, y'all? Hey. What it do? What's going on, good people? Welcome to Lisa's Real Spill. Y'all know what to do. Y'all know what the deal is. Huh? Woo, y'all know what we do over here. We just keep it real. We keep it simple, but we keep it real. What's going on? Please like, share, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell. Make sure it says all. So that when I go live, you'll get notified. What's up, good people? Huh? Ain't nothing to it but to do it. I was late tonight, y'all. I had things to do. I was late. Oh, yeah, I was late. I had things to do. So I was like, hey, Terry. What's going on? Yes, what's going on, everybody? What's going on? What it do? What it do? I was late, y'all. Yeah, I was late. Oh, excuse me. I was busy. I was supposed to come on here at 11, at 10. Then I had to change to 11. Then I changed to 12, and damn if I wasn't late at 12. You heard me. I apologize, but I'm here. Excuse me. I'm drinking a little bit of ginger ale. Y'all know ginger ale make you burp. So excuse me. What's going on, good people? On tonight, I'm just gonna talk to you. I'm just gonna have a real conversation with y'all, right? I'm just gonna keep it real. This is just gonna be a straight up, real conversation, okay? That's what we gonna do tonight. On tonight, we just gonna keep it real in the building. Just keep it real, but keep it simple. You know, we all go through something in life, right? We do. We all go through some shit in life. Let me tell you something. The most important thing is to learn from whatever you go through, is to learn from it. Okay? Is to learn from it. Yes, Humber. Hey, Humber. How are you? Read this out loud. Read what out loud? He say, sup. Sup. Read what out loud? Yeah, but you know, we all go through some shit in life, and the most important thing is for you to learn from what you go through. You shouldn't keep repeating, excuse me, you shouldn't keep repeating the same shit over and over again. And let me tell you something. When I came out of my addiction, right, for those that don't know, I am a recovering addict, okay? I've been clean for over 20 years, okay? Tari said, we must remember the difference between a warrior and a soldier. A warrior will fight all the battles in their life. A soldier will pick and choose the battles they fight in their life. I asked. I like that, Tari. I like that. You know? And that's true. That's true. Because let me tell you something. When I went through my addiction, okay, let me tell you something. Though that right there, that was a rough moment, okay? And that was a moment that I thought I would never get through. I'm not gonna lie to you. I didn't think I was gonna make it. I didn't think I was gonna make it through. because it was hard. It was very hard. Oh, sorry to hear that, Vanessa. Sorry to hear that. Prayers go out to you and your family. I'm sorry to hear that. I really am. Y'all show Vanessa some love. She said her mom died. I know that feeling. Woo! Sorry to hear that, Vanessa. And mm, lost my thought. Because that I've experienced that too. I've experienced that too. So I can imagine. I know what you're going through. Mm-mm-mm. But my prayers definitely go out to you. You say cause of you. Why you say cause of me? Why you say that? But when I went through my addiction, it was like it was crazy. That was something that was very hard, and I thought I wasn't gonna make it through. Like seriously. Um, because I had a gorilla on my back. Okay. I passed the monkey stage. I had a gorilla riding my back. And I thought that I would never make it through that, you know? But I did. All praises to the Most High. I did make it through it. And I have been clean over 20 years now, which is a blessing. I'm not bragging or boasting, but it's a blessing. Okay. And I only did it. All praises to the Most High. It ain't nothing I did. It was the fact that God brought me through. Okay. Um, and so if you're dealing with addiction, you can come up out of it. Don't think you can't. You can. You can come up out of it. But you know, I'm so glad that I came up out of it. I'm so glad I did because my mom died while I was in addiction and everything. A lot happened while I was out there in addiction. So when I finally got clean, you know, I said, I'm not going back. I said, Lord, give me the strength that I need because I'm not going back. And I didn't look back. I have not looked back since then, you know? And let me tell you something. Oh, excuse me. If you out there now getting high, let me tell you something. Bring it in. Bring it in. It's time for you to give it up. It's time for you to stop and give it up. Okay? Because let me tell you something. It's really bad out there now. Like when I was out there, we had people ODing and stuff, but nothing like they do now. We didn't have so many people dying like we do now. Okay? A lot of people are dying because people are giving you poison now. They're not even giving you drugs. They're not even giving you real heroin or real cocaine or whatever. A lot of people are giving you stuff that the fentanyl and just giving you stuff that's killing people. Y'all know, I don't know if y'all know, I'm from Baltimore. And they had a big thing up on up on Pennsylvania Avenue and North Pennsylvania Avenue and North Avenue, okay? Where they had people laying out up there. You know why? Because they had OD. They had OD'd up there. And people was just laying out up there. It looked like a morgue up there on that street. That's how bad people was just laying around. Everywhere you look, somebody was laid out, laid out. The ambulance was up there, the police was up there and stuff. It was really a sad situation that day, you know? And so it's nothing like it was when I was out there. Okay. Uh People wasn't doing that when I'm not gonna say it wasn't doing it, but it wasn't as bad as it is now. These days now, you don't even get a drug. They're not even giving you drugs no more. They giving you fentanyl and all kinds of poison and stuff that's gonna kill you. You know, like seriously, all of it is none of it is good for you. But what I'm saying is that when I was out there, you had a better chance of getting real dope than today. Today they're giving you fentanyl and all this stuff that's that'll kill you, that'll take you away from here. And that's what happened to a lot of them. A lot of them that day that everything was going on. My cat, he be getting on my nerves. That when that went on, listen, it was really scary. It was a scary look. I had never seen it look like that day. It just was really scary. How everybody was just laying out all on the street and stuff like that. You would have thought that they had a shootout up there, but they didn't. Somebody came up there and was giving out testers, right? And gave the people testers, and the people started falling out. They started passing out from them. Yeah, they started ODing from it because it wasn't real. It wasn't real. Hmm. Yeah, you know. So if you still out there using, come on in. Come on in. You ain't got to be out there. You can bring it in. Bring it in. Come on out that street because there's nothing out there for you. I'm telling you, there's nothing out there for you. And you're gonna get hold of something bad that's gonna kill you. I'm telling you. It's nothing good comes out of it. And nothing good comes out of it. But when I was out there, people cared more. And believe it or not, you used to get your ass whipped if they caught you out there giving out something that wasn't real. You know? Yeah. Dudes would get together in the neighborhood and beat your ass and run you out from around there. Yeah. They didn't play that. They didn't play that when I was out there. They didn't play that. But now, this is a different era now that we living in. So people really don't care. They don't care about you no more like they used to. They really don't, you know? So yeah. Uh if you still out there, come in. Come in while you still breathing, while you still, while you still got your life. Come in out from out there. Cause I'm telling you, it ain't gonna end up good. That's for sure. But as I was saying, when I was out there, it was like it was as listen, I started out uh thinking I was having fun. I started out smoking weed. Y'all remember the white boys? Back then we didn't smoke blunts. We smoked white boys, where you wrap them in the white paper. That's what we smoked our weed in. You could buy a dime a bag of weed and shucks and get about 15 joints out of it. And but then we didn't smoke it in blunts. We ain't even know nothing about no blunts back then. You know what I mean? And that's how I started out. I started out smoking blunts. I mean, smoking weed and drinking bottles and James coolers. That's how I started out. And then my family member, my brother of mine's, he turned me on to heroin. That's how I got hooked on heroin. My brother turned me on heroin. And I didn't know a lot about it. I didn't know, matter of fact, I didn't know nothing about it, honestly. I didn't know anything about that shit. Um, all I knew is it was heroin, right? And they called it dope. But I didn't know nothing about it like that. But my brother was into it. He was into that real heavy. And he turned me on to it. And I was like, damn, I liked it the high. That's what got me in trouble. I liked it the high because the high was like a laid back high. It wasn't nothing that had me paranoid or. And I was like, damn, whoa boy. Woo. I say, what in the world have I done? You know? And so every time I looked up, my brother was giving me a little bit here, a little bit there. And he was selling raw dope. Okay. He was selling raw dope. So yeah, it was potent and so shit, I would do a little bit of that and I'd be good all day long. Well, as time went on, I started to having withdrawals. Now I didn't know nothing about no withdrawals, okay? Because nobody told me that part. Nobody told me nothing about that part. So I didn't know nothing about that. All I knew is that I liked it to high, right? I liked it to high, have you, mellow, like just laid back, chilling, you know? And so as time went on, I started experiencing withdrawal. Okay. And so as I got deeper and deeper into it, the withdrawal got worse. Whereas though I was starting to need the drug. Okay. It was no longer do it when you want to do a situation. Okay. It got to the point where as though my body needed that drug. Okay. And so uh I started to ask my brother for some, or I would buy a little bit, or something like that. And then he wanted to tell me no, right? When I would start to ask him, or then I say, well, let me buy some. He wanted to tell me no. Okay, heroin, or we used to say heroin, or dope. And he started telling me no. So I started really experiencing withdrawal, and one day I woke up and I thought I was just catching the flu or something. So I ran down to a store and got me some stuff, for a flu and everything. And I went back thinking I'm going to lay down. Shh, lay down. Woo! I took that cold medicine, and it's like that cold medicine made me feel worse. Seriously. Oh man, I started throwing up and everything. So I went downstairs, and my brother's downstairs in the basement, and I was like, "Yo, give me a little bit of that." I said, "I got $20. Give me a 20 piece." And he's like, "No, man, no," like that. So then I was like, "Fuck you, mean no?" Like that, right? So then he gonna say, "What you need? Some? You need some? You need some, don't you? You need some, don't you?" So then I said, "Yo, did you get me hooked on this shit on purpose?" You know. I'm looking at him and shit, and I'm like, yo, did you really do this to me on purpose? You know what I mean? So I say that's messed up, and I was kind of pissed off because now I'm sitting back now and I'm looking at the whole scenario. My brother turned me onto that shit on purpose. He knew what he was doing. You know what I'm saying? But he didn't tell me, I didn't know anything about withdrawal at this particular time. You know what I mean? I didn't know that dope can make you have withdrawal. I didn't know nothing about that. I just knew that he was giving it to me, and being as though he was my brother, and I'm talking about my real brother, not nobody you call your brother. I'm talking about me and him had the same parents. Okay. And so um I'm thinking that, you know, he's not giving me nothing that's gonna hurt me, not like that, like make me have withdrawal and stuff. That's what I'm thinking. But all along, he turned me onto that shit on purpose. And then when he figured I was addicted, then he wanted to say no. Then he wanted to say no. I couldn't have none, you know? And I'm like, ain't this some shit? And when I came with money, he was like, no, man, no. You better hold on to that. No, no, man. So I'm looking at him like, really? I'm like, oh, this what we doing? So he started letting me know that, now that I was hooked, that he wasn't fucking with me, pretty much. Oh, excuse me. And so I went on, and my addiction, I was handling my addiction on my own for a while, for a good while. But then it was getting out of hand. And I went and sit my mother down and talked to her because me and my mother was really, really close. Really close. And I felt like my mother, I needed to tell my mother. My mother didn't need to hear it from nobody. I needed to tell her. I respected her that much that I felt like I need to go and talk to my mother. I need to sit her down and talk to her, and let her know what's going on with me, because I just felt like I owed her that I didn't want her to hear it from somebody else. You know what I mean? And so I went to her and I sat her down, I talked to her. I said, look, I done got myself into something, and I said something that I said, I don't even know how to explain it. I said, but I done got myself into something. And at the time, I didn't tell her that my brother had turned that he was the one that gave me that shit and turned me onto that shit. I didn't say that, but she knew. My mother knew when I came and talked to her. She said, I know something going on with you. She said, yeah, you done got hold of that shit and you hooked on that shit. Steven got you hooked on that shit. And I looked at her like I seen a ghost. Because I'm trying to figure out, how did she know? But my mother knew everything. You ain't, listen, let me tell you something. One thing I can say about my mother is that she knew everything. Okay? You wasn't going to tell her, you wasn't going to get nothing past her in her house. Okay? My mother knew everything that was going on. No joke. No joke. My mother knew when I was pregnant before I knew I was pregnant with my children. It was wild, but she knew. She knew. And so I just looked at her and I bust out crying. And she said, you gotta get yourself together, Lisa. You gotta get yourself together. You can bounce back from this. Well, yeah, I thought I could too, but my addiction got worse and started getting better. It really did. And I stopped dealing with my brother altogether. I just left him alone altogether, you know. And one day I was in my room and he came to my door and I shut the door. And he said, why you shutting the door on me? I said, because I don't want you in my room. That's why. I want you to remove yourself. I said, I don't bother you. I don't come down there. I don't come down there in your space or nothing. Do me the same favor. And so then one day I was in there, I was sitting in there in the kitchen. I can't remember what I was doing. So he come up there talking about, yo, you got some money? I said, no, I don't. No, I don't have any money, you know? And so he come up there and I didn't see it. He put something on the table and walked off. And I didn't see it. So he went downstairs and I think I was getting ready to leave out. I think I was getting ready to leave out the back door or something. And he said, Lisa. I said, what, man? What? And he was like, I put something on the table. Did you get it? Did you get it? I said, no, I didn't see nothing, you know. So he had put a rock, a dope on the table. Y'all know raw dope come in rocks. You know what I mean? You can get raw dope in rocks, like. And so he had put it on the table. And I said, yo, you got a lot of shit with you. He said, what you mean? What you mean? I said, yo, you kept giving me that shit, knowing that I didn't know nothing about it. I said, you kept giving me that shit, knowing that I was gonna get hooked on it. I said, you kept giving it to me. I said, now I'm hooked on it. Now you trying to act like, you trying to act funny and shit. I said, but you knew what you was doing. I said, that's really messed up. I said, that's really messed up to do somebody like that. I said, I could never do somebody like that. And I couldn't. I could never do my worst enemy like that. You know what I mean? That was just messed up on so many levels. And so he said, nah, at least I thought you knew about dope. I said, how would I know about dope, yo, if I never used it? How the fuck would I know about something I ain't never used? I said, you're not even making sense. He was trying to gaslight me and shit. Like, because he was ashamed because I caught on to what he had done. And so one day I was in the basement and he had gave me some. And I sat down there in the basement. Next thing I know, I almost OD'd in the basement. If it hadn't been my mother coming down there, I probably would have died. Now, he was sitting down there with me. He got up and left me in the basement. And he left. Okay. And my mother happened to come down there and grabbed me up and she started slapping me. She started like slapping me in my back and stuff and smacking my face and stuff. And so then I started early. When she snatched me up, I started throwing up and throwing up and throwing up. And so he come down the basement, and my mama slapped the shit out of him. She said, "You's a crackball nigga." She said, "I can't believe you. I can't believe you did this to her. Why would you do this to anybody? What is wrong with you?" And she seen he had a piece of glass, right? And on the glass, he had stuff on it. My mother flipped everything up in the air. It looked like it was raining dope in the basement. She flipped everything up in the air. No bullshit. And she said, you get the fuck out my house. She said, for one, you gonna have the people running up in here trying to take my house and everything from me. You got to get the fuck out of here. She said, I need you to remove yourself ASAP. Yeah, my mother has zapped out. She really did. My mother was so hurt. She really was. She was so hurt. And she just grabbed me and hugged me and stuff. She took me upstairs, helped me clean myself up and everything, you know. And she told my brother, she said, you're going to hell in a handbasket. She said, how could you do that to her? How could you. She said, I can't blame you fully. She said, but I do blame you because you a big brother. You supposed to look out for her. Why would you hook up on something like that? And that shit tore my life up. It really did. It really tore my life up. And I was young, you know? And so um after that, I kind of got myself together, from that incident. But man, I just went through so much shit after that, like seriously. And then I went and got on the methadone. Oh my goodness. That for me, I shouldn't have never done that. I shouldn't have never done that. Was get on that methadone. I'm serious. Now, for some people, it works for them. It didn't work for me. I was somebody that did not need to get on that, you know. But I had talked to my mom and everything. My mom was paying for it for me. And so, she thought that would be a good thing for me to get on for a little while and then try to, come off and everything. But it didn't work for me. It did not work for me, okay? I stayed high all the time off that damn methadone. Okay? Like seriously. Um and I wasn't taking no pills or nothing at the time either. I wasn't taking nothing but the methadone. But it kept me high, you know? I would go home I would go home after I got medicated, go to sleep. When I woke up again, it was damn near the next day. Okay? I said, oh my goodness. I went in there and talked to my counselor. I said, what kind of shit is y'all giving me? What are y'all giving me? I said, because I went home yesterday and I slept all day till the next morning. What kind of shit is y'all giving me? You know? So she said, wait a minute, Miss McGregor, wait a minute, let me check this out. Let me check this out. Let me tell you something. They had went up on my dose. Okay. They had me on a high dose. I shouldn't even been on that dose. They had me on a high dose. That's why I was so high up. I stayed so high up. We talking about methadone. We talking about a liquid that's basically heroin. Like it's a form of dope, but it's liquid. Okay? And it's similar to lean. It really is. Okay? And I would take it. And at first I was okay. When I first started there, I was fine because they was giving me a low dose. Okay? So I was like, okay, this seems all right. I feel normal. I just felt normal. And that's what I wanted, y'all. I wanted to feel normal again. I didn't know what normal felt like in so long. And so then, as I kept going to the program, I noticed I was getting high. I would go in there and take my medication, and I'll be out there waiting on the bus, and I would start, nodding. I was like, what the hell? I would start like actually nodding while I'm waiting on the bus, or while I'm on the bus, I would be falling asleep. And I said, wait a minute, what the hell is going on? And so, like I said, the next day when I went in there, I went to my counselor's office and I asked her, I said, what is going on? I said, because what are y'all giving me? I said, because I be fucked up. I told her just like that. I said, I be fucked up when I go home. I said, I lay down and go to sleep. I don't wake up. When I wake up, it's the next day. What the hell are y'all giving me? you know? I'm laughing now, but then it wasn't funny. Okay? And so she said, calm down, Miss Monroe. She said, have a seat for a minute. Let me see what's going on. Let me tell y'all, these people had me up to 80 freaking milligrams of methadone. Do you hear me? We talking about 80 milligrams, okay? That's why I was so out of it. Because they had boosted me up to 80 milligrams. I'm like, what the hell? I asked my counselor, I said, wait a minute, y'all told me that y'all wasn't going to go up on my stuff unless I wanted to go up. I said, how the hell did I get up to 80 milligrams? I said, no wonder I'm high up out my mind. I said, because y'all got me on this high ass dose. And see, at this time, methadone, they didn't even really know about methadone. They was testing it out on us. Okay? They didn't really know about methadone like that when they was just coming out with it, and they didn't even really know how to dispense it or anything. They was basically experimenting with it. And when I got on there, that's what they was doing. And that's how I ended up on 80 milligrams, high up out my mind. You hear me? It was so ridiculous. Let me tell you something. I would be so high, y'all, that one time I went home, went to bed, and guess what? I woke up just to go to the bathroom, went back and laid down. Do you hear me? And I slept till the next day. I slept for about 2 days. I didn't even go get medicated. My mama woke me up. She said, don't you got to go down there to the clinic? And I said, yeah. I said, I just don't feel like it. I'm tired. And I went right back and laid down. I slept for 2 days. That's how high I was off that shit. Okay? It was terrible. It was terrible. And then my mother was worried about me with that. She come in there that night. She said, Lisa, she said, you ain't been up all day. She said, did you eat something? I said, yeah, I ate some fruit. I said, I wasn't really hungry, man. I said, but I did eat a little fruit. So she said, come on, get up and come on downstairs and heat you up something. I said, okay. So I got up, went downstairs. She was talking to me. I said, Ma, I said, I don't like this methadone. She said, what's wrong? I said, it be having me too high. And she said, I knew something was wrong with you. She said, well, what happened? And I was explaining to her what had happened, what had transpired and everything. And I said, they got me all the way up on 80 milligrams of this stuff, ma. This stuff is too potent. I said, I can't do this. So my mother, she couldn't take off the next day, but she wrote a letter to my counselor, you know. And so when I went in there that day, they did take me down some. You know what I mean? My counselor went in there and they did take my dose down some. And so I still felt high though. And she said, you think you need to come down some more? And I said, yeah. I said, yeah. Y'all need to bring me down some more. Because I was all right with that 40 minutes. They was giving me like 40, 25. What was it? No, I think they was giving me about 30 milligrams. But I was okay with that because I felt normal. You know what I mean? I wasn't high, but I felt normal. So she say, so my counselor got them to bring me down, and they got me back down to 50, and I still didn't like that because I still felt high. I didn't want to be high. I just wanted to feel normal, and I didn't want to be sick. You know. Let me tell y'all something. My mother passed away. Mm, mm, mm. My mother passed away, and so I couldn't. I couldn't afford to pay for it. Right. So they started detoxing me off of the methadone because my mother had passed away and I didn't have the money to pay for it. My mother was paying for it for me. And so they started detoxing me. I said, oh well. So once they got me down to a low dose, I just stopped going. I stopped going. And I went back to getting high. Okay. So you know where that led me to, right back out there in the streets and stuff. So I started boosting, because I wasn't out there. I didn't sell punani, okay, and I wasn't out there doing blowjobs, okay. No, 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 no. I had to find me some hustles on the side so I could take care of myself. You know, to each his own. I don't knock nobody for what they do. That just wasn't my cup of tea. So I started boosting. And selling clothes and shoes and different stuff like that. And that was my hustle to keep my addiction, to feed my addiction. You know what I mean? And so as time went on, I just wanted I had got to a place where as though I wanted to stop getting high. After I buried my mom and stuff, I wanted to stop getting high. I wanted to get my life together. And so I had got on the okay, okay. Excuse me for a minute, y'all. Excuse me for a minute. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. Oh Lord, I tell you, there's always something going on. I apologize, y'all. I truly apologize. So let me go back to my little story time. So after I buried my mother, I was like, you know, everything just went haywire, like seriously. And I had got to the point where I really wanted to get clean. Okay. And so what I did was I found out about Suboxone. And I was nervous about that. But I was doing some research and stuff, trying to figure out would that be a good move for me, and stuff. And I met her, and I had got a counselor, and the counselor man was this counselor looked out for me. You hear me? I needed her. I needed her. She entered my life at a time where I was just tore up, tore up. Ain't no other way to explain it. I was tore up. And so, but she came into my life and she helped me do research and stuff. She told me all about it. How she helped me get on there. And when I made that final decision, I said, I'm done. I'm done. I'm finished with this. And yeah, I got on the Suboxone. And believe it or not, Suboxone saved my life. Suboxone really saved my life. And I wasn't high. I felt normal. You know what I mean? I just felt normal. I wasn't high. It didn't make me high or none of that, you know? And then I started getting my appearance back. My skin color started coming back and stuff, I started getting myself together. Um, During that time, I did have children. I was still in my kids' life and everything. My sister was helping me with my children. Well, supposed to have been helping me. Let's put it like that. She was supposed to have been helping me. But she was doing stuff to me, ball shit to me too. She's supposed to be helping with my children, but in the same breath, she was doing crap ball shit to me at the same time. Like it was crazy. And so, you know, uh, I left her house and I didn't go back. I had a daughter who was special needs. She was Down syndrome. And so one day I walked out of my sister's house and I didn't look back. I didn't go back, you know, because I didn't like the way I'm gonna put it like that. I was the black sheep. I always felt like I was the black sheep of the family. And my sisters and brothers, for some reason, didn't like me. I don't know what it was. I don't know what it was. And I'm talking about they didn't like me at a young age, you know. It ain't like I was a grown up and they didn't like me. I'm talking about they didn't like me when I was a child. Okay. And so it was like I was never accepted by them. I was just never accepted. And so when my brother did what he did to me, and then my sister did what she did, then my other sister did what she did, and my other sister did what she did. You know what I'm saying? So now I leave them alone. I don't bother them. I don't hate them. But when you start finding out that people don't go for you. You're not going to keep, well, for me, I'm not going to keep coming around you and trying to deal with you and stuff when I know you don't really like me. You understand? I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. Benny say, Auntie, I miss you. I miss you too. Hey, Benny Blanco, how are you? I learned a great life lesson from Miss Lisa. Thank you, Terry. And so, and so once I find out people don't go for me and stuff, that means it's time for me to remove myself. You understand what I'm saying? And so that's what I've done. Me, well, my the brother I was talking about, he passed away. And so my sisters and them, I had another brother that passed away, and I had another brother that passed away. Three of my brothers passed away. And all my sisters, me and my sisters, we all still living. It's four of us. It was nine of us all together. And excuse me, All the girls are still living, and three of the boys died, you know. And like I said, I love my sisters. If they need me, I would go right now. If they called me and they needed me for something, I would go. I ain't gonna lie to you because they my sisters and I love them. But for some reason, they don't love me. You know what I mean? And when people don't love you, you don't stay around. You don't keep trying to push yourself into someone's life when people study showing you they don't want you there. You understand what I'm saying? And so, yeah, I know that people don't want me there around. I'm not gonna keep on trying to be around people who don't accept me. Okay? And my that's just how it is, you know. That's just how it is. So yeah. I goes on about my business now. And I lean on God. That's who I lean on today. Mhm. I lean on the most high. Yes, I do. And it's been working for me. You know, it works for me. Huh. It works for me. Yep. Because I don't have no hate in my heart towards nobody. You know, I don't hate nobody or nothing like that. But you don't stay around people who don't value you. You understand? People that don't value, see value in you, people who don't know how to treat you, people that don't know how to respect you, you don't keep trying to be around people like that. You know what I mean? What you do is that you start to find a way to love yourself and you get away from people like that. And that's what I did. I learned how to love Lisa. Okay? I don't look for validation from nobody else. I learned how to love me. And once I learned how to love me, I got away from those people that didn't like me or didn't love me. I got away from them because I'm not going to keep coming around you and you keep trying to hurt my feelings. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to do that. Tari say, Miss Lisa made the active decision to keep her special needs daughter. She was not just a mother biologically, she was a mommy by choice. That's right, Tari. That's right. Thank you. I sure was. And listen, don't get it twisted. It was not easy, right? It was not easy taking care of her. Okay? But guess what? I wouldn't have had it no other way because she makes me look at life so different. You know what I mean? Because out of all the issues that she has, she still smile and laugh and play. You know what I mean? And for some of us to be adults, we can't even do that. You know what I mean? When we start going through stuff, some of us anyway, we start to break down, you know, or we want to cry or we get angry, you know. But my daughter has made me look at life so different by all the issues that she has. And yet she still keep pushing. She still keep pushing forward. Every day she got a smile on her face. She's laughing. You know what I mean? So yeah, she made me look at life so different. So now I lean on God. Okay. They told me my baby wasn't gonna make it past 5. My baby just turned 17 yesterday. Well, not yesterday. On the 13th. Yes, Monday. On the 13th. My baby turned I mean Sunday. Sunday was the 13th, right? My baby turned 17. Okay. And her doctors and them were telling me that she wasn't going to make it past 5. You know what I told them? That's what y'all saying. That's what y'all saying. Y'all saying she won't make it past 5. But what God got to say? That's who I'm rocking with. I'm rocking with God. Stop playing with me. I wasn't trying to hear that stuff them people were saying. I ain't want to hear that mess. Huh. I was walking with God, okay? And I knew God had the last word over my child's life. They said she wasn't gonna make it past 5. I said, okay, that's what you say. But what God got what God got to say? My baby is 17. Okay? As they say, how you doing? In my Wendy Williams voice. How you doing? Hmm. My baby is a survivor. You hear me? She been through so much, but she's still here. And she's a joy to be around. I'm serious. I'm serious. Her father died. Oh man. Whew. So listen, it's been rough, y'all. But let me tell you something. God be bringing me through. Like seriously, He be bringing me through. That's why I tell people all the time: build you a personal relationship with God. Running to the church house and stuff, all that's good if that's what you want to do. But at the end of the day, you really need to have a personal relationship with Him. You really do. Because running to the church and stuff, let me tell you something about running to the church. It's all good and everything, but I don't attend the church. I don't attend the church. I get into the word and I accept the word for what it is. Okay? Not for what I want it to be. I accept the word for what it really is. Okay? Hear me when I say that now. Because some people take the word and they want to make it what they want to make it. You see what I'm saying? But you can't take and change God's word. You got to take it for what it is. You got to take it for what it is. You don't take and change it around to suit you. And that's what some people be doing. They want to change the word around for it to fit them. No, you don't do that. You don't do that. And the sooner that you get a personal relationship with God and you start reading the word and get a better understanding of the word, your life is going to change tremendously. I'm telling you, it's going to change. Hmm. Hmm. It's going to change tremendously. Yep. I ain't going to take y'all to church right now, but I'm just letting you know. Okay? I'm just letting you know. Hmm. If you're not a believer, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. I don't. I don't know what to tell you if you're not a believer and you don't have God in your life. I don't know what to tell you. And see, this is why some of our lives are in turmoil, right? Because we don't believe, or we say we believe, but we're not living like we believe. We're not living righteously. And this is why, some of our lives are turned upside downwards. This is why some of us feel like, no, things is just not going right because, excuse me, because you may be talking the talk, but you're not walking the walk. Let me say that again. You may be talking the talk, but you ain't walking the walk. See, it's one thing to talk the word, right? But it's a whole nother thing to live by the word. Okay? And I'm just throwing little gems out there for to give y'all something to think about. At some point in your life, you want to become a better person. You should anyway. You should want to become a better person at some point in your life. You should want to do better. Okay? And if you don't, I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with you. I don't. I don't know what's going on with you if you're somebody who don't want to eventually get your life together. And let me tell you something else. Time waits on nobody. Tomorrow is not promised to none of us. Okay? Tomorrow is not promised to none of us. It really isn't. So, don't play around and play around. Okay? Because hey, listen, none of us know when our time is up. None of us know. So don't keep playing around and and miss getting your life together. Like seriously. Don't keep playing around and you miss getting your house in order and getting you together. Okay? Like seriously. It's not a game. It's not a game. It really isn't a game. I have a lot of things that I haven't done that I would like to do. I got some traveling I want to do, you know. But however, however however it works itself out, I'm happy with the person I am today. I really am. I'm a good person. I respect people. I'll help people. So however things come, however they go, I am happy with myself today. I really am. You know, I really am. I'm happy with myself today. And I thank God for bringing me as far as He done brought me to. I really do. And I hope that whoever's been here and been listening, you know, I hope that you are in a good place too. I hope that you're in a good place, and I hope that you have connected with the Most High Yah. I really do. I really do, because we all need to. We really do. So I pray and hope that, you know, even if you're not connected, I hope that you want to, you know, eventually go in that direction, and start building your personal relationship with God, because we all need that. We really do. We all need that personal relationship. Like I said, going to the church house and stuff, you can do what you do. But the most important thing is having a personal relationship with Him. That is very important. It really is. So at the end of the day, it's up to you and what you want to do with your life. I can't make you do nothing. Nobody can make you do anything, you know? But hey, I hope that each and every one of you, if you don't have God in your life, I hope you get Him in your life, because it's a game changer. It really is. It's a game changer. It really is. It really is. And God can do some amazing things in your life. The problem with some of us is that we don't give Him a chance to. We don't give Him a chance to. And that's where the problem come in at. But I'm not going to keep y'all no longer. I didn't know I had been on here this long. I love y'all. Thank y'all for tapping in with me. Tari say a relationship is out of free will. A benefitship is out of necessity, because one or more persons can't meet their basic needs of life. Come on, Tari. Talk about it. Talk about it. Talk about it, Tari. Tari say, please read the Holy Bible Book of Job, King James Version. Learn to worship the blesser and not the blessing. Come on, Tari. Come on now. Talk about it. Talk about it. Listen, Tari been here with me. I don't know how long I've been on here, but Tari been here with me just as long as I've been on here almost. Okay? That's my guy right there, Tari. I love me some Tari. Tari say an inspiration circle are the people who encourage you to be best version of yourself. And they're the genuine cheerleaders in your life. Okay? I'm Tari's genuine cheerleader. He my genuine cheerleader too. Let me tell you something. And that's important, y'all. People that's in your life, if they not pouring into you, what if they don't have some type of value, right? What are they there for? And I don't want listen, I'm not a New Year's resolution type of person. I don't do all that. I believe in if it's something you want to do, get started. Do it now. That's what I believe in, right? I don't mess with the New Year's resolution thing. Okay? Because what happens is we say we're going to do something. Oh, that's going to be my New Year's resolution, right? But then New Year's come and go and you don't do it. So I just feel like if it's something that you're going to do, just do it. You ain't got to wait on no New Year's Eve or none of that mess. Just do it. Because, like I said, tomorrow not promised to nobody. So, hey, if it's something you're going to do it now. Don't wait. Do it now. That's just how I look at things now. Because you never know. Like I said, you never know what's going to happen. You never know. Lord forbid nothing happens to anybody. But we don't know. We don't know. You know? So don't be sitting around procrastinating and hesitating. Get up and start it today. Okay? Like, seriously. Excuse me. And people that don't have no value, get them out your life. Let me tell you something about that. When you keep people around you who doesn't have any value, okay, what happens is they dim your light. They dim your light, okay, and you don't get what you should get, okay, because you have someone hanging around you who has no value, okay, who has no value, or you just got not even, it don't necessarily have to be a person, okay, you could be a hoarder and have a whole bunch of stuff in your house or whatever, clutteredness and stuff, okay, that type of stuff has no value. You understand what I'm saying? So if you got things around you that has no value, it's time to clean house because you're holding yourself back. You're holding yourself back. The minute that you clear things, right? Something good is going to happen for you. A door is going to open for you. The minute that you clear that stuff up that don't have no value around you, something is going to happen. You're going to clean one space up, and trust me, something else is going to fall in that place once you clean it out. Get that stuff away from you that don't have no value. Like, seriously, you holding yourself back. You keeping yourself from getting what's yours because you got too much stuff around you that has no value. It's doing nothing for you, but it's there. And by being there, it's holding up space for something else. Okay? It's holding up space for something else. It's time to clean house. Then, on that note, please like, share, and subscribe. Okay? I love you all, and I will see y'all, Lord's willing, on the next one.